Welcome back, my lovely Sims, and today we will be continuing the bakugou katsuki X Hawk Sister Listener series. It's written by Crimson_A on Wattpad, link in the description below. Chapter 37. Study Day Session. What am I going to do? Mina howled while banging her fist on the desk. The next day in class, left half of the class in dread, considering that Mr. Sawa mentioned the approaching of the final exams. You sat at your desk, with your heads in your hands. You actually placed 6th in the midterms, but you weren't that confident about the finals. Turns out, Endeavor's agency and the attack of the hero killer left you with no time to study. Slowly getting up, he decided to talk to Kirishima, since he looked worried. He walked over and sat in the unoccupied seat in front of his. "Hey Kiri, what's wrong?" Kirishima looked into your eyes, and he looked like a sad puppy. Well, didn't have time to study." He shyly ruffled his hair and chuckled. He nodded in understanding and glanced over at Katsuki. Immediately doing a double take, he placed 3rd, so he was pretty smart. Without thinking twice, you grabbed Kirishima's collar and yanked him up, out of his seat. "I have an idea." You changed while walking over to Katsuki's desk. Kirishima failed in your grasp, and you wiggled too. So you dropped him, once you reached your destination. "Hey!" He greeted the hedgehog, who looked startled upon your arrival, considering he had been in deep thought beforehand. "Huh? Oh, hey dumbass." He rolled his eyes, one still under Kirishima, nervously himself on the floor. "What the fuck is Shitty here doing?" He growled, thinking you must be able to look up your skirt from that angle. He was about to pick him up and an explosion himself, but you beat him to it. You smiled nervously towards Katsuki after getting Kirishima off his feet. "So, you know, the finals are coming up and you didn't realize it was this hard to ask him for a favor, and you crushing on him made the situation even worse." "Absolutely fucking not." Katsuki finished. He would have tutored you, but he was not that keen on doing it. While the breathtaker was there. "Please, Katsuki." You leaned on his desk and gave him your best pout and puppy eyes as you could. "I seriously would appreciate being tutored from the best and brightest." Oh, shit. You knew exactly which buttons to press to get this angry boy to warm up. With the most ass-eating smile he could show, he chuckled. "Best and brightest is the fucking right. Sure, I'll tutor you, dumbass." You didn't stop the puppy eyes though. They grew bigger and cuter. And Kirishima mouthing internally at your baby voice. Katsuki growled and reluctantly agreed with a curt nod. "Whatever, I'll fucking text you when they adjust." Time skip. You were excited to be hanging out with Katsuki outside of school. So you dressed up in your favorite style and took the time to do your best hairstyle, packing your bags to go. Angry hedgehog. "Hey, I thought we could study at the cafe. Not like I care about you. It's not that big a fucking deal or anything." Even his texts were aggressive, but you didn't mind because you knew he did have a soft side. A protective side. A side you wanted to get to know better. "YN, what's the Frank saying?" You heard Keiko yell from downstairs. You never really learned how to swear so we replace it with strange but censored words. You run downstairs with your backpack bouncing behind you as you reach the hallway. You look down from the rail to see Keiko standing there with his arms crossed, clearly glaring at someone. Your heart dropped when you reach the bottom of the staircase to see Katsuki fucking Bakugou standing at your doorstep. Bakugou? You yelled. He figured standing in front of your older protective brother and greeting a hot guy that showed up to your house by his first name was going to end horribly. What the fuck? Katsuki cut himself short as Keiko clearly cleared his throat loudly. When? May I see you in the kitchen, please? He smiled innocently, and you were so worried you physically gulped. Katsuki rolled his eyes and nodded. You understood him and, yeah, I get it. I'll wait here, dumbass. He frantically ran to the kitchen to get this over with. Keiko stood standing against the wall, and you stood awkwardly in the middle of the doorway. Isn't he the kid that threw you in the air at the sports festival? Yeah. You answered hesitantly. And isn't he also the one who knocked you unconscious? He went on, crossing his arms and tapping his foot. Well, that's a bit over-exaggerated. You fiddled with your backpack straps. Okay, sure. Let's go ahead and date the aggressive teen. Why not? You added sarcastically. Sure, she will hear. And it's not a date. Him and I are helping a friend study. It wasn't a total lie. Keiko looked at you suspiciously, like he almost might let this slide. He knew what to add to make this spicy. Well, we're going to a cafe, but if you want him and I to study in my room upstairs alone, fudge no. Keiko shook his head from side to side and paced through the kitchen before groaning with frustration. You promise you'll be safe and be home early and keep your phone on you and... You cut him off with a hug. I promise, I'll call you immediately if you try anything. You looked up at your big bro and smiled. Do you want to deal with the number 3 hero? He laughed and hugged you back before allowing you to go. You walked back out front. Katsuki then walked to Keiko, who was at the door, and relaxed his face to seem less intimidating. I'll make sure she's safe until we get back. Keiko was shocked, but nodded in respect for this boy's understanding. Katsuki and you began to walk together to the station, since he still could not drive. As you were walking, you glanced at him to see him smirking. What is it? You asked. He chuckled and said in a mocking voice, Let's go and date the aggressive teen. You flushed red and he laughed while holding his stomach. You had a cute laugh. But shut up. No one asked you to pick me up. You didn't even let me know. You had a ride by now and got on the train. Idiot, check your damn phone. He raised an eyebrow, but still checked your recent messages to see his update. Angry hedging. Also, I'm picking you up now. Deal with it, dumbass. Katsuki looked over your shoulder and scowled. Change my fucking contact name. You realized he saw and yelped. Wait, no! Too late. He snatched it from you and started typing vigorously. You were afraid he might break your phone. Here, I work for her. You mumbled the last part, so it sounded like it jumbled up. You looked back at your phone and immediately blushed while stuffing it back in your pocket. You were glad the door finally opened and you both made your way to the cafe. Time skip. The study session. went great, except for the fact that Kashima bailed. He said he would study with Yorosu, so it was just you and Katsuki, which looked bad for any third person's view. A British-looking girl with a high-tempered tornado together at the cafe. Okay, one waitress called you a couple, but you didn't show that you cared. Now you were walking back to the train station with Katsuki. It wasn't too late, only around sunset, so you weren't worried what Kay would say. As Katsuki dropped you off at your doorstep, the sun was down and the stars were coming out. You turned to him. Hey, thanks for the help. You bite your lip and Katsuki nodded. Sure, whatever I guess. You're pretty easy to suit anyway. He shrugged and you thought of something. Can I repay you in any way? I could. He shook his head and chuckled with a smirk. It wasn't a favor, idiot. So don't make it seem like that. He nodded and was about to open the door while turning to it. Before you could though, your heart decided to fucking be a prick. You turned back to face Katsuki, who was still standing there, and kissed his cheek. Your soul left your body as you squeaked out a "Thanks, good night!" and ran in your house, closing the door and sliding down onto the floor. Katsuki stood still outside your door, staring at it like a deer in headlights. His heart was pounding, and he was sure he would blow up the neighborhood from how much he was sweating from his palms. He managed to keep calm and sighed, since no one else was around to see him. He dreamily bit his lip and smirked. The walk back home was like a daydream to him. Once you gained yourself, you walked to the kitchen to see Keiko standing with a milk carton in his hand and a glass in the other. It was eavesdropping. You know how you know that? You know how you know that? The glass was fucking upside down and he was pouring milk on the floor. Hey! You rolled your eyes, and pointing to the glass. Kay realized and sighed in defeat. Okay, you caught me. But in my defense, had I known you'd have the guts to do that. You smirked, you cringed and drank some water. It seems okay, maybe Shoto should hook you up for the plan, you know? Water spits from your mouth and your nostrils as you cough. Okay, nope, I'm going to bed. You sped up to your room, hearing Keiko wheezing in the kitchen from the scene that unfolded. You sighed once you belly flopped onto your bed. I wonder if... You picked up your phone and went to your chats. Your ringtone sounded and you jumped at the text you received. King Katsuki. No problem. Good night, man. Oh, that screwed you. First, like, your nickname changed in your phone. Now I say goodnight and didn't get mad at you at the kiss. You could pretty much be happy forever. Good night, my king. That was a fanfiction. Oh my god, my heart. That was so cute. I love this series. It's so cute. Aww. But that was a fanfiction. Have a good night, afternoon, and I'll see you guys in the next videos. Bye bye. Love y'all.